So first of all, there are no hidden costs in housing. There is a possibility that there are some things you're not prepared for, or you're not properly informed about, or maybe you thought you could figure it out yourself and you didn't work with a professional. So that is when it becomes hidden cost. I'm not saying this to hide from the fact that there are bad actors within the industry. So what most people refer to as hidden costs oftentimes is development charges. They have service charges, agency fee, and it's because number one, government has failed in its original function to provide amenities. And so, in places where there are no such thing as roads, and so you realize that somebody just a particular section of the city buys it up, develops it, interlocks, installs electricity infrastructure, drainage, even maybe provides water and all of that. At the end of the day, the reality is all these costs are transferred down to attract people to buy charges. So we tell you the house is 50 million net. And so when you pay the 50 million, we then tell you, oh, and besides, we have spent 500 million on infrastructure. And so your extra bill is 50. In its sense, it's not an hidden fee. It's just because you were not properly informed. So that's one. If you look at the journey of homeownership, starting from acquisition, acquisition is straightforward. The cost of land, the cost of your service charge or agency fee or the title, that is there. You're done with that. There are pre-development stages that involves your design, your architecture, your engineering services, and all of that is in that point. At that point, your architect or your engineer should let you know that okay, after we're done, the next thing is you go for approval. If before we go for approval, we would need you to do some tests to know what is under the ground, to know if the ground can carry what you're proposing. They will advise you. And once that is done, you then proceed to construction. Now, construction is a whole ball game of his on his own because before you even start the building, you have to think about okay, how do I clear my site? How do I bring perimeter fence? How do I bring machines? How do I bring workers? How do I bring a site shed? How do I bring a storage? Even before you start anything, and so all of those moving, bringing, storing, saving, keeping, and accounting have their own cost. And then on top of that is now the actual cost that you pay for the building, that you buy the materials. Then on top of that is now the cost you pay for the labor to put those materials together. And then when that is done, there are now some post-development things, which may be in the form of let's connect drainages, NEPA, meter. And so really in itself, there are no hidden costs. With guided professional help, nothing is hidden. Everything will come to you at every stage of the process.